Good morning students. In previous class we have already discussed about classification of computers on the basis of generation and on the basis of size. Today I am going to explain further topics of chapter 1 which are computer languages, categories of computer languages and some translator programs. So let's start from computer languages. So what is computer language? Language is a medium to express our views and ideas. To communicate with computer, we need a language that they understand. Computer language is nothing but a language which a computer can understand. So the proper definition of a computer language is the language which computer can understand is called computer language. It helps us input instruction and data to the computer. So this is the definition of computer language. Now I am going to discuss about categories of computer language. Computer languages can be classified in 4 categories. They are as follows: first generation language, second generation language, third generation language and fourth generation language. So let's discuss all these categories one by one. And the first category is first generation language. First generation language is the actual language of a computer since it is expressed in binary form is that 0 and 1. Which means the program which was written in first generation language was in binary form. It is also known as machine language. Understanding and learning machine language is tough and tiresome for humans, which means when we write any word in alphabet format, we can easily understand it. But when we write in any word in binary form, is that 0, 1, we can't understand it or we face difficulties to read it. A machine language program written on one computer may or may not run on another computer. Hence, it is also regarded as low-level language. Originally, no translator program was used to compile or interpret the first generation language. The main advantage of programming in first generation language is that code can run very fast and very efficiently because of the language used in first generation coding, which is machine language, which is very close to computer. So this is about first generation language. Now let's move to second generation language. Second generation language is also known as assembly language. When the programmer uses a symbolic representation or names called mnemonic code or symbols instead of binary number is that 1 and 0. Since the computer can only understand machine language, assembly language program had to be converted into machine language. A second generation language was alphabet letters, which means English words were used in second generation language. So programming was technically easier than using complex series of 0, 1, which was a machine language. So this is about second generation language. Let's move to third generation language. Third generation language, which is also known as high level language. It is step above second generation language and step below fourth generation language. Third generation language is a machine independent, which means third generation language is designed to be easier for humans to understand, including things like names, variables, etc. English words and mathematical operators were used in third generation language. COBOL, Pascal, Basic, C, C++, C Hash, Java are the example of third generation language. And the last one is fourth generation language. Fourth generation language is programming language. Fourth generation language is programming language closer to English language formation. It is also known as modern language. Fourth generation language are close to human language than other programming language, and fourth generation language are accessible to people without formal training, which means people do not require any formal training to use fourth generation language. Fourth generation language is intended to be easier for users than machine language, assembly language and low level language, because fourth generation language is highly user friendly and executed very fast. So these are the different categories of languages. Now I am going to explain next topic, which is translator program. So first of all, you should know what is program. A program is a set of instructions arranged in logical sequence which tells the computer what to do. You can also say a set of instructions that tells the computer to perform a specific operation is called program. So now I hope you all understand what is program. Now let's discuss about translator program. What is translator program? As we know that computer can understand only machine languages. So when we type programs in the languages other than machine language, then we need a translator program to convert program code into machine language. A translator program is a software that translates the language of any program into a format that computer can understand, interpret and execute. It is also known as language processor. Let's understand the function of translator program in a better way. With the help of an example, to understand the working of language processor, let's take an example to understand the working of a language processor or translator program. Suppose an English speaking lady wants to communicate with a German speaking person. Neither the English speaking lady understand German, nor the German speaking person understand English. Therefore, they request a person who knows both languages, English and German, to help them to communicate with each other, and that person is translator. Here you can, this is the English lady who wants to communicate with German man, but she doesn't know German, and the German person who doesn't know English. So they both want a person who knows both language, English and German, to help them to communicate and translate. And the person is translator who translates English language into German and German language into English. So translator is responsible for translating English into German and German into English. Similarly, translator program is responsible for translating one type of language into another type of language. So now I hope you all understand the function of translator program, or you can say working of translator program, in a better way. Let's now discuss about some important translator programs. They are as follows: assembler, compiler, interpreter. Let's discuss all of these translator programs one by one. So the first one is assembler. An assembler is a translator program that translates a program written in assembly language into a machine language program. Which means an assembler is a translator program which converts assembly language into machine language. Here this is assembler. Which convert assembly language program into machine language program. And the next one is compiler. Compiler is a translator program that translates a high level language program into machine language program. which means compiler convert high level language into machine language. Here is the compiler which translate high level language into machine level language program, which convert high level language program into machine language program. Compiler translate the whole program at once and generate a list of errors. If any, otherwise it generate the program in machine language, which means compiler translate the whole program at once, and if it find any error, it generate the list of error, and if not find any error, it translate the complete program into machine language. The compiler read the program which written in high level language at once. The compiler read the complete program which is written in high level language at one go and displayed all errors in the program with their respective line number, which means if the compiler finds an error on first line, it generates that error with first line. Once all the errors are removed by the programmer, the compiler generates the program in machine language. So this is about compiler. Now let's discuss about the last one, which is interpreter. An interpreter is a translator program that translates a high level language program line by line into machine language program. Unlike the compiler, an interpreter reads only one statement of the program at a time. It means when compiler reads complete program at once, interpreter reads a program line by line and translates it. If it finds any error in a line, it reports about it. The execution of program cannot be resumed until the error is found. It means when interpreter translates a program line by line, if it finds any error in a statement, it stops the execution of interpreter and does not start until the error is fixed. Interpreter programs are preferred for beginners who just started programming and are slow in execution. It's obvious because when a program translates the whole program, programmer translates the whole program line by line, its execution speed becomes slow. To make you all understand working of interpreter in better way, I created a flowchart. Have a look. With the help of flowchart, I am going to make you understand working of an interpreter. Here you can see this is the high level language and this is interpreter. When the program starts to translate, interpreter takes only one statement or instruction of complete program. Interpreter checks it. Here you can see interpreter checks it. Is there any error or not? Here the interpreter check is there any error or not? If yes, means if the error is in that line, interpreter stop the process. Interpreter stop the process of translation and report the error so that the programmer can resolve the error. And if no, it means if their error is not found in that line, interpreter translates the line or statement into a machine language. After translating that line in machine languages, interpreter again checks is there any statement left in program or not, any more instruction or any more statement in program or not. If no, interpreter stop the execution, and if yes, interpreter repeats the same process again. I'm repeating this again. After translating the first statement into machine languages, interpreter again checks if there is any more instruction or statement in the program. If no, it means if there is no line left in the program, the execution of interpreter is stopped. But if yes, if there is more statement is left to translate, the interpreter repeat the same process again. Interpreter will repeat the same process again and again until the whole program, which is written in high level language, translate in machine language. So that's all for today, and your chapter 1 is completed. Try to complete bookwork of chapter 1 with your own, and if you can't, bookwork and questions of chapter 1 will be answered in next class. Till then, keep your study continue. Thank you.